Mic check, mic check. Oh, let me turn this music down. Let's turn the music down. Let's see if the audio is clicking. Mic check, mic check. Let me turn this music down. Audio sounds just fine. I look just fine. We got people in the chat that are just fine. Turn the music down just a little more. Yeah, do that. Have a little faint in the background. Man, what's going on, y'all? It's been a hot minute, ain't it? It's been a hot minute since we came on here and actually talked Florida State football. But we here. We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about it. We have a season on the horizon. What are we? A month? Less than a month away? Somewhere around there. When is FSU's first game? August what? The first thing we look up today. August. Oh. FSU football schedule. Our first game, August 29th, New Mexico State. New Mexico State is right up the road from me. I'm over here in El Paso, Texas. New Mexico State about an hour up the road. I've actually been there. It'd be cool if they would have came here. But what is going on for the State football fans? Seminole Nation and the 863 tribe. Here's your boy POLK, a.k.a. 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 the goddamn truth. It's been so long since I gave one of those intros. Man, I might have to get back in the swing of live streaming. Mike Norvell almost killed my passion. Got to get back in the mode. We got to get back into the swing of things around here. Please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Share the video. Let everybody know. I mean, it's been so long since we've been live. Who knows how many people we won't have in here? Like what? Right now, what are we looking at? Right now, we got 32 people on YouTube. Yeah, I got 32 people in here right now. 32. That's it. Who knows how many people come through here? But we're going to get back in the swing of these. We're going to get back in the swing of these. Again, the football season is upon us. I don't know if I've ever been so nonchalant for a football, for an upcoming season. But, I mean, here we are. Here we are. Again, first game of the season. I mean, that, New Mexico State should be a blowout. Then you got SMU, Bama, and Central Arkansas, first 4 games of the season. Realistically, you could go 2-2. You beat Bama last year. You could go 3-1. Could you go 4-0? I don't know. I do not know. But we will see, man. Let's check and see who actually is in the building with us. Again, it's been so long, man. We got to roll call it. Again, I got to get back in the swing of how I was doing things. Let's get the roll call going. Let's see who's actually in the building kicking it with us. I got Gregory Goodwin. D Nice in the building. Island Boy was popping. Tegan. What is it? KCD. I feel like some of y'all's names have changed. That just shows you how long it. I feel like some people's names have changed. Pork and Bean 305. I think that's Tim. Tim, that's you? I think that's Tim. What's up, Tim? FSU Tony in the building. As always. B Gaines. Our resident Miami supporter. What's up, Dennis? Joe Johnson. Yes, I was late. I wanted to finish eating. But I'm here now. Almighty, what is good? Justino, what's up? The Steel Supreme, what's good? Antonio Jenkins in the building. EMG, what's popping? The Dangbag, how you been? Brandon Little. Priscilla, good to see you. Martin Mile High. Vic, what up? What's my opinion on Todd Herman? We'll get into that. Champs 99 in the building. What's good? Ride or Die Noel Seminole. What's up? Vontae. Sports Mart. Florida State Love. Bruh, I'm not even gonna try to say what that is. Afaraji. I'm just gonna call you the one twice over. It's the new 11. There you go. Central Texas Kane, another Miami supporter, was good. How y'all been? It's been a while, man. It's been a while. All right, let's do it, man. Let's do it. What are we gonna talk about tonight? Well, I want to look at this roster. We got to talk about Todd Herman as the new assistant head coach, and what does that even mean? You hire your new assistant head coach a month before the season starts. What is there to expect from that? So we got to talk about that. What I'm not going to waste time on is recruiting, and that's not to poo-poo on FSU's recruiting. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. You know what? Before we get into all that, I want to say, I want to say, I'm gonna make a, I'm gonna do my best this year, guys. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. I'm gonna do my best. As a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna do my best. You know what I'm gonna do? You will not hear me, barring some catastrophic loss. And I'm talking about, when I say catastrophic, I'm talking Bama beats FSU 90-0, or SMU goes out there and 45-0, or something where it's just like, okay, but I will not, and I give you my word, and this is my vow for this year. I will not come on here and call for Norvell's job. I said all I needed to say about that guy. I am not going to allow that man to anger me this year. I promise you. And I'm not going to come on here every Saturday and go fire, 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 fire. That is beating a dead horse. Everybody knows what needs to happen at this point. So that's what I'm not going to do. We'll talk about everything but Mike Norvell. We all know what the problem is, but we're going to talk about everything but Mike Norvell. So for those of you that love Mike and think Mike just needs more time, and it's not his fault, you should be more receptive to the program for this upcoming year. Again, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best and not talk, because I don't. And one of the reasons why I'm doing that, again, barring a catastrophic L or like some. I mean, you look at the schedule, so there's no way they're going to start 0-4. There's okay, see, Vontae, if you lose to New Mexico State, that's catastrophic. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's catastrophic. So I have to then break this. I have to break my vow. So again, barring something like that, I'm not going to do it. Because I don't believe Mike Norvell is getting fired after this year. Barring something catastrophic, I do not believe Mike Norvell gets fired this year. And so I don't believe it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. The time to fire him was last year. You didn't do it. I don't believe they're going to do it this year. I think Mike wins 6-7 games. He's good to go, man. I know I heard Danny Cannell say 8 wins or Mike's fired. I don't believe that. I think Mike wins 6. Mike Norvell makes a bowl game. He's not getting fired. FSU has another 5-win season. Even then, less than 5, then again, we're talking catastrophic. We can get him up out of here, right? I just don't believe it. I don't believe he's getting fired, so I don't want to waste my time talking about it. Now, with that being said, tonight, let's take a look at this roster, sort of an in-depth look at the roster, position by position. I kind of want to go that route. Again, the Todd Herman conversation. FSU's got a little bit of recruiting momentum, maybe. I don't know. Listen, honestly, let me cover recruiting right here for the next 20 seconds because I don't think I need to spend much time on recruiting. You got a good get tonight. I think you had another 4-star the other day. Don't quite remember. Let's be honest. If Mike Norvell's 6 years into this thing, is there any reason to honestly get excited about recruiting? Like we've watched enough. I think we've all watched enough to know that there's no reason to get excited about Mike Norvell and recruiting. And not only that, look at the current class. Does FSU have any offensive or defensive linemen committed in this class right now? Why is it year in and year out we cannot recruit the trenches to save our lives? But anyway, that's all I'm talking about recruiting. I don't want to talk too much else about that because I just think it's premature and there's no need to talk about it as of right now. All right. I'm getting my situation. I'm getting set up here with the drinks and the ambiance. Y'all like the new little scenery we got. You got Spear up there. We got new little scenery going on. We doing a little bit of something around here. Not too extravagant, but we feel like we got a little bit of something going on. Let's go, man. Let me get some comments and then let's talk about. I want to talk about Todd Herman first before we get into this roster. Champ 99 says FSU will be much better than last year. I hope so. But we're gonna talk when we talk about this roster. We'll talk about it, but we can all have hope, champ. We can all have hope. A lot of y'all did not believe that I would say that even if FSU no, of course, again, you lose to Mexico, you lose to the Mexico State, and I gotta say what I gotta say. Only thing that scares me is QB. Oh, like I said, we're gonna talk about that roster. Right? You sure the quarterback's the only thing that scares you? Touche. We probably do need to talk about that. Probably the person I'll blame all season is Mike Alford. That's impossible, Pope. We love Arnold. Hey, listen, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to keep my word. I'm gonna try to keep my word. I will not call for Mike Norvell's job this year unless I absolutely have to. He don't make a bowl, he definitely getting canned. We'll see. I personally don't know. I personally think 5 wins, they might keep him around again. Just wait for the liquor to kick in. You're probably right, Priscilla. If I come on here drunk one Saturday, I'll probably say all kind of foolishness. What's up, Tim? I don't understand why we can't recruit a QB. Yes. Appreciate that. No, sir, not me. Yeah, got a little something going on. I always gotta have a goat in the back. Always gotta have him over. He's got to overlook the situation, right? He talks to me sometimes and tells me what to say and what not to say. But Todd Herman, guys, in the chat, how y'all feel about that? Does it matter? What do y'all think? What do we think about that? What do we think about the addition of the former Tom Herman? Is it Tom or Todd? It's Tom Herman. What do we think about him? The former Houston head coach who beat FSU in the, I want to say it was the Peach Bowl in like 20, what's that, 16? Is that 16? FSU lost? What year was that? We lost to Houston. I feel like that was six. No. 16 was Michigan. This is 14. No, because 14 was Oregon. So this is 15. That's 15. 2015. 16 is when you beat Michigan. 15 is you lost to Houston. Obviously, 14 is you lost to Oregon. 2015 you lost to Houston. Right? How do we feel about it? Former Houston head coach, former Texas head coach, former FAU head coach. Florida State loves this 10 years ago would have been great. I agree with you. I actually agree with that. Yes, 2016 was the Orange Bowl, Michigan game. If we get the how long ago was that, Ride or Die? Joe says, I have no clue. He's got more big-time experience than Norvell. That's all I know. True. I don't think it matters at this point. This man hasn't been a winning football coach in how long exactly? No, sir. No, sir, not me. Says, I don't think it's going to make a difference. The man is washed. Not sure about Tom Herman. It almost feels like he is the coach in waiting. I as the assistant head coach, I let's assume worst case scenario. And Mike Norvell, unfortunately or fortunately, but again, I said I wasn't going to call for his job. So that doesn't count as me calling for his job. I'm just painting a scenario. So the scenario does not count as me calling for his job. Just want to be clear. I'm not going to break it on the first night. But Mike Norvell loses his job. Right? I really believe if Tom Herman is like the answer to that, it might be it might be it might be time to hang up my Florida State fanhood if they would go from Mike Norvell to Tom Herman. Like if that's the answer, um, yeah. I don't know what kind of rant I would go on. I don't know how that would look, but I know that I would. I would. I don't know. I tend to believe that that is not the case. Um, my assumption is, that East Texas connection with Mike Norvell and Herman and something of that nature. I don't understand why you make that move in July and don't make that move at the beginning of the in January, right before spring and all these things, so maybe he gets can Herman get on the trail? He's got experience obviously in the state of Florida. Can he get on the trail? Can he do like I don't understand the move in July, but again that just shows piss poor leadership from all the way at the top at this university. It's not like the man was coaching. He sucked at FAU. He sucked everywhere he's been except Houston as a head coach. He has a great resume as an assistant, or a coordinator, or assistant coach, or whatever the case. But as a head coach, outside of Houston, he's kind of been a disaster. And again, I don't know why you bring him in now. But they did. I agree with y'all for the most part, at least the ones that are saying I don't believe that it makes much of a difference. I don't believe he's going to be calling plays. I don't believe. He can have a assistant head coach title all he wants, but what does that entail? Does he have a position of specialty that he's going to be focusing? I don't know what it means. I don't think it means much. So I agree with a lot of y'all, but I'm curious of what maybe some of y'all see something that I don't see in Herman, but I don't see anything other than the name. Anybody want to tell me what we got here other than the name? If he's the head coach and waiting, burn the entire program down. Gasoline, kerosene, whatever. I agree. If that's the answer that you want to come up with, Mike Albert, yeah. It's time to take old yellow out back. Because you've officially turned this program into USF at that point. We could have had James Franklin. Let's look to the future. I want to look to the future, Joe. Let's look to the future now. Let's look to the future. One second, guys. What am I looking at here? Give me 1 second. I got a message I gotta check out. All right. Let's back to this. If Tom Herman is the head coach after my ER broker, then I thought Norvell will win the ACC Coach of the Year. You know what, champ? I love you, and I'm not even gonna disagree with you. I'm just gonna do this, but I ain't gonna disagree with you. Anytime, champ, you got it. You got it, big dog. I'm not. Herman will never be the coach at FSU. Is it time to bring back Jimbo? Who's going to lead FSU into a new conference? Great question. Who is going to do that? When is that going to happen? Who knows? He will be intern. This team is such a mess. He's a six man off the bench type coach. Had a good first year at Texas. KCD was up. I heard it had to do with something about him finishing out a buyout contract. I would need more details to even comment on that. I'm not gonna lie to you because I don't see the correlation with FS what the university would have to do. Herman's buyout. Herman's last contract, I believe, is FAU. Are you trying to tell me that Florida State's paying? No, his buyout. Don't know. I don't think we have. I think we have decent. We're gonna talk about the roster, Brandon. We're gonna talk about the roster. We'll see how decent the roster is. I want to cover Tom Herman, and then I want to cover Tom Herman, and then we're gonna definitely hit up the roster. I promise you. What up, Terrell? I haven't watched it. I haven't been live in so damn long. So welcome back. Only thing I'm thinking about is when is FSU. I mean, I would love to know too, Almighty. Do I think Norvell will have a bad season? I'm not rooting for a bad season. We'll kind of cover some of this stuff again when we get into the roster. I'll take Shane Beamer when he's fired at South. The only thing about only thing I'll say about Shane Beamer. You gotta like the way he recruits, right? You definitely gotta like the way he recruits. My thing with Shane is he's actually got some legit talent at South Carolina, and they're winning 4 or 5 games. Is that the coach you really want to bring to Florida State? I digress. But you guys are jumping the gun. What did I say? I specifically told you guys I am not calling for Norvell's job. So I'm not sitting here. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to call for a man's job who I don't think is getting fired. I'm not going to do it. T. Will was good. My man on Twitter. Well, yes, I'm with you there. Again, not calling for the man's job. However, Heartline is, I think, the name that FSU should be watching. The question with Heartline is going to be, one, we got to see what USF looks like. And then how long does FSU wait? Do you want to see 1, 2, 3 years of Heartline? Do you wait too long? Does someone else scoop them up? Heartline is going to be interesting, but I also am leaning that way. But obviously, I got to see what that USF team looks like. Why not more? Yeah. Yeah. Y'all a mess. So I think we've all decided that Herman is basically there's not a lot to talk about. What about you, Almighty? You asked about Tom Herman. What do you think? What do you think about Herman? Is that a good pickup? Heartland isn't recruiting that great at USF. Well, they haven't played a game at USF. So I would not judge what Heartline is doing right now. But here's the thing. Don't talk to me about recruiting because Mike Norvell's not recruiting well at Florida State. Would you take Heartline as a new coach? How much experience does he have? At some point, you have to do something. So here's the thing about, and I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about new coaches at this point because again, I'm just one. It's beating a dead horse, and two, everybody has an idea, but the truth is, if I asked anybody, who would you pick as a Ryan Day? How much experience did he have at? How much experience did he have when he took the reins over at Ohio State? Like, how much experience did Dabo Swinney have when he took the reins at Clemson? I mean, at some point, you have to shock the system, and it's okay to learn on the job. If you wanted if you wanted an established coach, you missed out on that guy last year. So you're talking about going forward. I don't know who's the coach. Who's the established coach that FSU would bring in next year, the following 27, 28, 29? Seriously, who's the established coach? Whoever you hire is going to be, you know what I'm saying? So, like, who you want? If we can question Heartline, then that means you're going to be pretty much questioning everybody, any potential candidate. Unless you think Dabo, I mean, what we want. That's what I'm saying. Like, do we want a bunch of washed coaches as far as that goes? Do you want to Dabo after he gets fired at Clemson? If he, like, what do we? I don't know, guys. I don't know what you guys are looking for. So if Heartline's not good enough for you, I don't really know what you're looking for. I think maybe some people want Manny Diaz over there at Duke. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's a thing. First year at USF will be rebuilding. I don't know if FSU can afford to wait 2 years for Buddy. Funny. Oh, let me take another one of these every time Champ says something. Because we always blame. We still doing that thing. I mean, and the NIL is the NIL. The NIL's always been the NIL. Everybody seems to forget we lost 5 games by 1 score last year. We're not that far off. Here's the problem with that logic, in my opinion. In old, the previous version of college football, that made a lot of sense because the team stayed consistent, right? This ain't the same team from last year, so it's almost irrelevant. That would be a fair point if this team was a year older. This team isn't a year older because this team is different. New quarterback, new running back, brand new offensive line, brand new quarterback, essentially a brand new defensive line. It's not the same team. So what happened last year is completely irrelevant to this year. And that's just not at Florida State. That's pretty much across the country. Just my 2 cents on that. Okay, Tony Elliott. UGAD. I really hope it's not, but I really hope it's not Schumann. I don't know. And that's the thing, guys. I don't know what some of y'all be thinking, or I don't know what y'all be seeing in some, like, did y'all not watch Georgia's defense last year? I don't know. Take another shot. Herb Hand calling plays. I'm not paying attention to Herb Hand calling plays. All right. We've talked enough about Tom Herman. Let's get into this roster, man. And I'm going to share the screen. Give me a second. Give me a second. Ashton better than TC. We're going to talk about it. But I just want to. Only reason I'm sharing the screen is just so y'all can see the rosters like I do. So this is FSU's official rosters, and I got it broken down by position. And so it starts in alphabetical order. So it starts with the DBs and goes. So we're kind of going to go that route. We're going to just cover Instead of just starting at quarterback, like we're just gonna start with the DBs. And before we get into the individuals, I will say this about my defensive back room. It is, I think, sheer numbers, the sheer amount of talent. Look, like Chuck. That was a 5-star. Jamari Howard was a high 4-star. Where is he? Right here. Um, you got some guys in this room, obviously. Charles Lester was a high 4-star. Zay Thomas was a 4-star. He's a guy that I kind of hope can come on. Um, then you got some of these transfer guys. Uh, okay, so that's there's your DB room, your corners and safeties. Like there's talent in that room. There's a lot of depth in that room. One thing, if you just look at the roster, they got a type at let's just go look at this. Look at this DBs. So this is something that you should like. At least I do. 6'3", 6'1", 6', 6'2", 6'2", 6'2", 6'1", 6', 6'1", 6'1", 6'1", 6'3". Freshman is 5'11". Like that's the first sub 6 foot person in the DB room. It's Trey Bell. Then 6'1", 6'3", 6'2", 6'1". Then we got another 5'11" and Makai Jones. Then we go right back to 6'1", 6 foot. Like they've recruited a type, to give them credit. They've recruited a type of DB at this school. We're talking long, rangy guys. And I think you have to appreciate that, in my opinion, when we talk about the DB room. I think you have to appreciate that. Real quick, I see y'all talking in the comments. All right, Gregory, appreciate it. Oh, we can definitely talk about this. This is but you're lucky I didn't lead off with the Knicks winning the damn championship. FSU is better everywhere except D-Tech. I think Champ, I think you're doing this on purpose. I think you're doing this on purpose, but let's do it. I think Champ is legit trying to make me drunk on purpose. Anyway, he said the FSU is better everywhere except D tackle and tight end. That is insane. Anyway, let's get that still on DB. And I kind of want. I might go. I might go player for player. At least let's start with the important. Let's start with the guys that we know. And so we're gonna start with number 7, Ashton Barker. He's talking about a 6'3", 200 and damn near 20-pound safety. A guy that I thought last year was solid. I'm pretty proud of Barker because we've gotten more at him than I ever anticipated. I never had high expectations. Didn't think much. I thought he was a body when they took him. I'm not calling him some All-American. I'm not even calling him an All-ACC caliber guy. But I think he's a solid contributor. I think he, plays hard, plays smart, and we'll see what he does as a senior. Again, he's big, and it's interesting to see how they're going to use him. Obviously, that's probably not the guy you want in coverage. He's the guy you want coming downhill and putting a hit on somebody. Barker's solid, right? Solid player. Jarvis Boatwright Jr. I don't have much on that. He didn't play last year. He transferred last year, didn't play. Redshirt sophomore. Interesting to see if he can crack the rotation. Until then, I don't got nothing to say on him. Same thing with Antonio Cromartie Jr. Not much to say. We'll see if he, whatever. Donnie Hibbert, this is the man. This is the future Hall of Fame, All Pro, NFL. Donnie Hibbert is no, I'm lying. If we see Donnie Hibbert on the field, God help us. I said it last year, and we were winning 5 games. If we see Donnie, shout out to Donnie. I don't know obviously personally. This is not an attack on the young man. I'm just talking football. Let's hope we don't see this man on the field. Jamari Howard. This is the guy that we haven't seen. This was same class as Charles Lester. Some people argued he was better than Charles Lester. There's a debate there. He had an injury, I believe, as a freshman, and we haven't seen him. There's some people that's like, oh, this is a make or break for Charles Lester. This might be a make or break for Jamari. If he can't crack the rotation, I mean, this is a big get that FSU got, I thought, and a guy that I thought would be, in the mix, and we haven't quite gotten out of it. He should be 2 years removed from an injury. I'm hoping that we see number 18 and we see him play well. Hoping. I mean, that's a body type, right? You get 6'2", Miami, South Florida kid. Like, you want to see that. You want to see him play. And I hope we get a chance to see him play. Before I move on to Q, let's go back to the comments and see what y'all got going on in the comments real quick. Was it a bad omen when Shamar came in last year and got playing time over all these guys? He's also no longer on the roster. Shamar. Who the hell is Shamar? Are we talking about the kid from Houston? I don't know. We'll see. One and done on New York. One and done. Nah. Well, NBA's different now. All the past champions have been one and done. So, we'll see what happens. Barker is going to be a hybrid spot. Yeah, I mean, he obviously should be used in a hybrid linebacker, box safety type thing. We'll see. Donnie, that's what I'm saying, man. Future All-Pro. Howard and Lester have been disappointments. Jamari, Charles, Lester, Ricky Knight were a waste. Redmond and Ricky Knight, it's time for them to get into the rotation as well. Did Howard get hurt last year too? That's unfortunate. Oh, you're talking about Arnaud. Gotcha. Yeah, Arnaud, he's not on the roster anymore. And he did play as a freshman. Let's continue, man. Quintarius Jones. What is this? Get off this. Q's always been interesting. I think he got hurt last year, if I remember correctly. Q has had times where he's looked like the best DB maybe on the roster. And he's had times where you go, is he regressing? I don't know. I don't know about Q. The question is going to be who starts opposite of Jabril Rawls right now, I think is the major question. We'll probably get that answer as we scroll a little further down because I'm not so sure it's going to be Q this year, but we'll see. I think so far we haven't covered a player other than Barker that's going to be a starter. Now we get into KJ Kirkland, who I believe will be one of probably your starting safeties. I've always been appreciative of Kirkland. Solid player. Again, this is going to kind of be a theme with this entire roster, guys, is where I'm going to say a lot of solid player. But you're not going to hear me say maybe other than one. Legitimately, there might be one player on this roster that I go, oh, this guy's a star. Outside of him, and y'all know who that is, you're going to be talking about a lot of solid players, right? Anyway, same thing with Kirkland. I think Kirkland's a solid player. Redshirt junior, does he still have more to grow? Does he take a step? It's always a question. I'm not saying he won't, but we got to see what he does. Ricky Knight. Are you getting anything out of Ricky Knight? I'm not so sure. Ricky Knight is another one. That entire DB class. You're talking Charles Lester, Ricky Knight, Jamari Howard. It's been a massive disappointment at this point. Speaking of Charles Lester, there he is. Is this a guy that can he redshirt sophomore? Can he make his presence felt? Maybe he can be the slot guy. I don't know. That's your number. That's QB. Excuse me. That's corner number one right there in Jabril Rawls. I think everybody would agree with that. When he's healthy, I think Jabril Rawls borderline is an all ACC caliber DB when he's healthy. I do believe that. I think he's a borderline ACC all caliber guy. So there's that. What do y'all think about that? I think Jabril is the best corner on this team. And you got Max Redman, redshirt freshman. Same thing with Zay Thomas. Zay Thomas has a unique build as a corner. I want to see him on the field. Is it possible we can get you want to talk about making guys optimistic? If we can start seeing guys like Zay Thomas maybe showing that he's further along in his progression, that would make me optimistic. Trey Bell, true freshman, not going to waste a lot of time there. Chandler might be the guy that starts opposite of Jabril Rawls. I think this is the guy that I'm kind of thinking will be starting opposite of corner 2. What do y'all think about that? Anybody disagree with that? Yeah. I think he might beat Q out. Yep, Kai Bates transferred out too. That's very good to hear that, It sounds like you went and got going for your commission. Oh, no. My man said he is in college now and he's starting. At what position are you starting at, Jalen? Man, it's been a long time since I talked to you, Jalen. What is up, man? Good to see that. He says he's starting. He's a captain. What position? At what position? What position you playing? Like what college you go to? Let us know something. My bad. Yeah, so let's keep it moving. Again, I think this guy is going to be corner 2, but like I said, might be a battle between him and Q. He's a true freshman, Chuck. I'm just going to skip over Jordan Crutchfield. Not even going to lie to y'all. Is the true freshman Chuck Keenan? Is he going to play as a true freshman? What do y'all think? Not again, and then these other guys, I'm really not wasting time talking about C.J. Richard and Darren Townsend. We'll see what you get. Overall. So this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna go through each position group, kind of talk about the players. For that specific position group. If Jabril Rawls is healthy, and I don't know. I'm trying to be kind. If Charles Lester, Jamari Howard, Zay Thomas, let's assume Chandler, the transfer is legit corner 2. So if you can get something out of like Ricky Knight, like these 4 players, you can get something out of, and I'll even put the true freshman Chuck in here. You have 5 options. Like if you can get something out of maybe just one of these guys, could set your DB room over the limit. But drop your grades in the chat. But as it stands right now, and how I feel, think the DB room is a solid B. No more, no less. It's hard for me to go over a B. Again, I think there's talent there, obviously. We got to see it. And the guys that we know, I think are solid football players. Again, I think Q's solid. I think Barker is solid. I think Kirkland is solid. I think Rawls is either right at or just below all ACC, which means he's a good player. And then you got some questions of, maybe is Nahima Chandler, how good is he? How good is Chuck? Can Charles Lester, B. As a way it stands preseason, I think B is a proper grade for the DB room. I can't really go no higher than a B. I think anything for higher than a B is you're being delusional, and we'll see. Bro, Jalen is an adult now. It just tells me how old I'm getting. Okay, that's what's up, Jalen, man. I'm actually proud of that. Proud of you. Barker, Kirkland, Jones, Rawls, Chandler is the starting DBs. C for the DB room. You're kind of strict. That's strict, but I can't argue against the C. I think my thing is that I think Rawls is pretty good, so I think that ups the DB room, and I'm also putting it at B because I just believe in my mind, and I could be dead wrong, that someone's gonna emerge. There's too much young talent in that room that someone that like Lester doesn't eventually click for him, that Howard it doesn't eventually click for him, that somebody Zay Thomas, somebody I believe is gonna emerge. So I'm going with B. B minus, experience is lacking, growing pains to be expected with a new corner coach. B minus with A plus potential, B minus to C plus. So everybody's kind of in the same agreement with the corners, with the DB room. We got as low as a C, and I think the highest is a B. So everybody's pretty much C or B. I mean, I know one sport must have A plus potential, but potential gets you fired. Everybody's got potential. How many people realize it? Okay, so good. I think we all agree. Let's move on to D-line. Daryl Desir. I'm going to run through the names first, and then we'll go back. So you got the Desir twins, obviously. You got DeMonte Diggs. You got Tyler Lee. There's a name. You got Daniel Lyons. You got McCray. You got Cam Brooks, true freshman. Whitney Kadu. Another true freshman, though. Pickney's another true freshman. Rankins is another true freshman. You got the transfer, Jalen Anderson. No, I think he's from community college, actually. I think he's a transfer. The transfer, Kennedy. You got another true freshman in Whitley. You got the red shirt freshman in Kevin Wynn. Circle him twice because we're going to spend some time probably talking about him. You got the transfer, Jordan Sanders. Christian Colin Murray, freshman. Okay, I don't even know who that is. Judah Daniels. He's a 6'3", 272-pound friend. I don't know. All right, so there's all. Now let's talk about the players, obviously, that we need to talk about first and foremost when we start talking about this team. It's going to start with the twins, obviously. Daryl and Mandrell. It's going to start with them. And here's the thing, man. Which one was the one that led the team in sacks? That's the question. It was not Daryl. It was the other. Go back. 6'4", 270. We're going to start with Mandrell. He's the one that was all freshman, I think freshman All-American. Yeah, he had How many sacks did he have on the season? Where's the damn sack total at? Am I tripping? Six and a half, right? 6.5 sacks, I think he had. Yeah, I think he led the team with like 6 sacks or something like that. Either way, the question is going to be how him and his brother, one, continue to grow and how they continue to play. What's that growth look like? You look at their builds, 6'5", 270s. I mean, what they are. If you wanted to, you can make them D tackles. This 3-man front. These are not edges. They're what do you call it? 5 technique guys that can on the 3-man front. You have the true nose and your sort of big ends. They fit the mold. The question is are both of those guys gonna start? They probably should. I can't think of anybody else you'd put in those 2 spots. The question with them, man, is just what's that? The one thing I have a question about the Desir twins, I still don't know what their ceiling is. They still don't pop off the screen to me as far as athletes go. So when you start asking what is their athletic ceiling, then you ask what is their true ceiling, and I don't have an answer. So I don't know how much potential they have. I don't know when that growth caps. They play great as true freshmen. There's a conversation are they closer to being finished products, or do they still have some time or some ways to go? I think their sophomore years may answer some of that. But I look forward to seeing their growth, and they are a bright spot and something that you should be positively looking forward. Demonte Diggs, did he do anything last year? I don't think he played. I don't think he did anything last year. I think Diggs had a sack in the Bama game. I think then I think that was the last we heard of him. Matter of fact, let's click on Demonte Diggs. Because outside of, I do think he had a sack in the Bama game. I could be wrong. I feel like I remember a sack in the Bama game, and then that was it. We didn't hear from him the rest of the year. Yes, there it is. He had 1 sack in the Bama game and 1 tackle against Kent State. Look at that. And you didn't see nothing else from him for the rest of the year. Yeah, he had 1 sack against Bama, and then that was it. Listen, I got no expectations from Demonte Diggs. If he gives you more than a sack and a tackle for this year, then that'd be a plus. Move on to Tylen Lee. Tylen Lee's an interesting player. This is a player that I thought they were going to bulk a lot of weight on. If you remember, he was up to 280 last year. He's lost weight, gone down to the 270s. Maybe they don't look at him as a defensive tackle anymore. This is a former 5-star, depending on the website, 5-star guy. That remains to be seen. Does he emerge as in his redshirt freshman year? Tylen Lee might be a player to watch. Daniel Lyons, this is probably for me, and I don't know who's the best defensive lineman on this team. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know who that is. Lions might have the best case. And unfortunately, a solid player, I do not believe Daniel Lyons is a top 5 defensive tackle in the ACC. I don't think he's a top. I'm not so sure he is. And unfortunately, he might be the best guy on your D-line. It could be one of the twins as the best guy on your D-line. It might be Kevin Wynn. Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm not trying to knock Daniel Lyons. It's just that I've watched enough of him play football to know that they're going to be at. Daniel Lyons is a rotation guy that they're going to be giving starting snaps to this year. Take that for what it's worth. Before we move on, let me go back to the comment section. We're trying to figure out where we started at. All right. What's up, Antoine? We need to pretend that the linebacker room doesn't exist. We'll talk about that when we get there. Let's see if the D tackles can set the tone and not get mushed back 5 yards. Tony says C plus or B minus for D line. Got a lot of question marks on the D line. D line is a C minus, no depth. Can we please run a 4-down set? A solid C is all I can give this point. Mesidor and what are you talking about doing back? I'm gonna go C plus. Daryl Jackson did a lot last year. Lions is just okay. McCray and Mandrill will start on the outside. Lions will be in the middle and 4-man fronts. Run a 4-3. Diggs played great against Bama, then he got hurt. He had a sack against Bama. I wouldn't say he played great against Bama. Had a sack. Diggs had a neck injury. Okay, so again, we'll see what we get from him this year. If Kevin Wynn takes a step, you're better off in the middle. Lions isn't getting much better. I actually agree with that, Antoine. Okay, if you again, who's the best D lineman? Before I continue going down the defensive lineman, anybody want to tell me who's? I think as of right now, it's hard for me to say anybody other than Daniel Lyons. Who's the best defensive lineman on the team? If it's not Lyons, then it's Mandrill. All right, let's move on. And then I'll come back and answer some of those. Look at y'all's comments after we come back. Then you got McCray. McCray, again. I mean, also, man, I want you to look at, before I go to McCray, hold on. And this has to be said because this is important. You know how we looked at corners and we was like, oh man, everybody's 6 foot and up. Go to this defensive line. 6'5", 259, 6'4", 270, 6'5", 272, 6'4", 271, 6'4", 292, 6'4", 291, 6'4", 243, 6'5", 284, 6'5", 222 pounds, 6'4", I haven't even hit a 300 yet, guys. Anyway, 6'4", 274, 6'2", 242, 6'3", 251, 6'6", 282. Finally, when you get to Kevin Wynn, you start getting into the 300-pounders. Kevin Wynn and Jordan Sanders are cracking the 300s, and that's all you have. Anyway, now you have Deontay McCray. Again, played solid for you. Probably wasn't as good as people wanted him or anticipated him to be. I believe he's the Western Kentucky transfer from a year ago. I believe Western Kentucky is where he was at. And I agree with one of the comments. I think he probably starts at one of the ends, with Mandrill as the other end. Daniel Lyons, I think, will initially in a 3-man front be in the middle. And we'll see what that looks like. It's another player. I think he's a solid player. I wouldn't call McCray a difference maker. I think he's a solid player, though. I think Cam Brooks is going to have an injury. I think you're not going to get anything out of the true. I don't want to say. So I don't want to say you won't get anything out of the true freshman because you got something out of a freshman last year on the D line. Here's my question: is Pickney? I don't think you're going to get anything, but this guy right here. Whitley, Ernest Rankings, Whitley are probably the 3 freshmen that I would watch to see if they can crack. And I will say this about Tyler Lee. If you let one of those 3 freshmen jump you, it's in the NIL era, Tyler Lee's not on FSU's roster next year. I think everybody would agree with that. One of those 3 freshmen that I just named, because I think out of all the freshmen, those 3 are one of those 3 are the most likely to find their niche on a defensive line that obviously there's a lot of positions that should be wide open for the taking. And if Tyler Lee was to get passed up, it would be by one of those 3 guys. Then you got Rylan Kennedy. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't think you're getting it. There's some talk about him being like this is supposed to be your pass rush. He's essentially being this year what Amari Williams should Amari Williams should be this guy this year that they're going to be asking Kennedy to be. I'd much rather have Amari Williams being asked to be that guy. Instead, he was at Mississippi State. Ugh. I don't believe and James Williams. Remember? Yeah, I don't. Kennedy's gonna have to prove me wrong because I think he's gonna be looking a lot of I think he's gonna be looking a lot like James Williams did last year. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't. But he's got to prove me wrong. Let's spend some time on Kevin Wynn. And before we spend time on Kevin Wynn, let's go to comments real quick. And then we're going to talk about Kevin Wynn. Because Kevin Wynn is the X factor. Kevin Wynn, if as a redshirt freshman, so you're asking a lot of this guy, but he's built to carry the load, literally. Kevin Wynn could make or break the entire D-line. Lions isn't that bad. I didn't say Lion was terrible. I think sometimes y'all take me saying a guy is average and y'all think I'm saying he sucks. I'm just saying Daniel Lyons on any of the major competitive teams in the country. Put it like this. This is how I'll put it to you, One Sports Mark. Look at all your rivals. Daniel Lyons would not start for any of your rivals. He wouldn't start for Clemson. He wouldn't start for Miami. He wouldn't start for Florida. And tell me I'm wrong. Daniel Lyons wouldn't start for any of your major competitive teams on your schedule. Would he start for Bama? FSU's trying to be like that, right? FSU's trying to be back on that level. He wouldn't start for any of those teams. Not saying he's a bad player. I'm saying you're going to be asking what should be a role guy, And if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. What's good, Peter? Still don't understand how you let Amari walk. Edge is a D-, god awful. Forget the linebacker rule. Worst unit on the team. All right. Kevin Wynn, man. Kevin Wynn is the X factor. I don't think any. I mean, does anybody want to disagree with that? If you get what you need to get out of Kevin Wynn, man, I mean, he's the legit. You're talking about legit nose tackle, 6'2", 317, low center of gravity. Should be able to, stick at the point of attack and hold the line, clog up the lane, and free up other people to do what they do. Like, if he can be that, if he can be healthy, and if he can, I'm not asking him to be Corey Simon as a redshirt freshman, but if he can just be, what's the snap count? Like, if Kevin Wynn can give you 20 to 25 legit snaps a game, I don't think I'm asking too much. Is that on the low end? I think 20 to 25. I mean, for a guy that big, 20 to 25, like B level, we'll just say B level snaps a game. I think, because obviously Daniel Lyons is going to play. Jordan Sanders is right below him. I mean, that's a 6'4", 310 guy. He's probably going to play. I don't think he's that good personally, but he's the only other 300-pounder you got. Man, can I get 25, 30 snaps out of Kevin Wynn, or am I asking too much, or am I asking too little? I don't know. I think that's the guy that can make a break. And if by the second half of the season, like, he's your full-time starter, then I think you found something there. And that might mean that your defense is playing a little better, or your defensive line in particular has maybe found something if Kevin Wynn has actually established himself as kind of a full-time guy. What are our thoughts on Kevin Wynn? 35 snaps. I think 35 snaps is a solid number. I don't disagree with that. I like, you know, like that. If you can get that a game from Kevin Wynn, I think that's a win. Again, I think that's the guy that changes the dynamic. That's the guy that we should hope that is gonna like that's your X factor. You feel me? Like that. I think that's the guy. I think that's the guy. Let me hold on 1 second. Peoples. Let me bring this back up. Give me a second. There it is. All right. Can y'all see the screen? I feel like y'all can't see the screen. Please. What's going on? What is going on? Can y'all see the? All right. Hold on. This page. I don't know if y'all can hear me. I don't know if I'm frozen right now, but it's like nothing. The page isn't responding to what I'm trying to do, and hopefully y'all can still see me. Like I can't move the chat right now. It's like my screen is frozen. Because honestly, I need a brand new computer, which I should be getting shortly. But anyway, we're gonna move on. I'm not gonna cover kickers, but we are gonna go straight into linebackers, and hopefully this damn I can't do anything on the screen. Okay, wait a minute, that worked. Okay, my screen's moving again, or at least it was moving. All right, guys. I don't know what's going on, but as long I see, I do see the comments just recently updated. Um, it's time when it comes to win. Kevin Wynn will have the opportunity. It's up to him. I don't see him developing in the system or under potluck. And I just got told that the stream is good, so that's a plus, right? The stream is good. It's just, I guess, on my end, nothing is moving. But I'm glad the stream is good, so I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, so y'all can hear and y'all can see me. It's just my screen is bogus. Makes sense. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna exit out of some of this stuff here. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Actually, and I'll even close this. Maybe that'll free it up. Guys, this is killing me. Because I can't see nothing. Okay, I might disappear. I'm going to refresh the screen. Wait a minute. Okay, it looks like it's okay. I think I'm back. All right, it looks like I'm back. I can see myself now. The screen's gone, but I can see myself. Let's get into this linebackers. I don't know what that was about. I'm not gonna share it this time. Y'all just have to trust my word on these linebackers. Like I said, I'm skipping over the kickers. Actually, we didn't give the D line a grade. So real quick, D line grade. I almost want to give it an incomplete grade. I don't want to be too disrespectful, but there's no way. So if I gave the DBs a B, there's no way I can give the D lineman higher than a C. Again, who's the best player on your defensive lineman? Yeah, I'm getting a new computer, champ. 'Cause that just froze up on me. But again, who's your best D lineman, man? Like, who is it? I'm saying as of right now, as the way it stands, July 17th, I think it's Daniel Lyons until somebody proves me otherwise. Now, there's potentially that a few guys could end up being the best defensive lineman. But the way it stands right now, from as terms of longevity and production, probably Daniel Lyons is your best guy. Maybe Mandrell is your best guy. That's probably the only two legit arguments you can have. I can't give the D lineman higher than this. I can't give my D line higher than a C, and that is very concerning in my opinion. If y'all are looking at Florida State, that's got to be concerning. We talk about trenches, and you win the game inside out. Who's the pass rusher? Do you have a legit pass rusher? You're asking the Texas A&M kid to be a legit pass rusher. Is how many sacks he got in his career? Oh, okay. Anyway, we'll move on. Again, how many true nose tackles do you have? Well, you got one, maybe two. Okay, we'll move on. Like, I'm gonna give them a C. I could easily give them a C minus. I kind of want to give it an incomplete grade, only because I do think, like, Kevin Wynn has a chance to make that unit from, like, in a perfect world, Kevin Wynn and both the twins take a step, and that unit goes from the C to maybe a B plus if those guys take the right step. I'm not so sure. Right now, I'm gonna give it a C. I in good faith, can't give it any higher than a C. They are ends. Who the hell? See, I tell you, man, some of y'all change y'all name because this say Possum Jenkins, but the picture. But what's good, man? What's up? Um, I agree with that, champ. I agree with that. Can't be worse than James Williams. I do agree with that. Um, it's hard for me to give it higher than a C. It really is hard. Let's move on again. Let's move on to backer. If we move on to backer, I'm gonna go over the names and then we'll talk about it. Caleb Lavelle. This is the transfer that everybody remember. I don't know. Do y'all remember when we got that transfer from North Carolina? And I was told this man was going to be the next Sam Cowart. I know y'all remember me arguing with people who told me that this young man, and I know he was hurt, don't get me wrong, but they said he was going to come in and be the best linebacker, and I don't think we haven't seen him. We'll see what we get out of him this year. Blake Nicholson's in his senior year. Ethan Pritchard, shout out to Ethan, man. Glad to see him still on the roster. Glad to see him still on the video game. Still wishing him a speedy recovery. I know he's making strides in his recovery, so shout out to Pritchard. Brandon Torres, I don't know who you are. Let's hope I never see you on the field. Dylan Green, freshman. The brother, the freshman to the other Lavelle. Maybe he might be something to look forward to. Same thing with Mayock. Mayock was a good get for Florida State. Miami Central, I'm interested to see what that young man can be. Same thing with Isaiah Williams. That ended up being, he was considered one of the better linebackers coming out of high school. However, he did mess up his knee, I think it was. How does he recover? Does he play? Interested to see. Omar Graham somehow is still on. I feel like I've been talking about Omar Graham since Willie Taggart's been here. Am I wrong when I say that? Omar Graham has been at Florida State for about 8 years. Shout out to Omar Graham, man. Chris Thomas, that's the guy. We're going to circle him because we're going to come back. We're going to come back and talk about Chris Thomas because that's the guy. Not Chris Thomas, Chris Jones. That's what I meant. That's the guy that we're going to come back and talk about. Jones, not Thomas. And then you got another transfer in Gabor. I think he's in Nebraska. I think he came from Nebraska. Yeah, came from Nebraska. Chris Thomas, he comes from community college. JUCO, and I don't even know who Trent Rogers is. He must be a walk-on. Let's start at the top, man. Actually, before we start at the top, let's see what y'all talking about these linebackers. Okay, so that's New King. Should have kept your name New King, man. So I disagree with you, Antoine. We'll talk about it. I know I'm not tripping, right? I feel like Omar Graham been here forever, right? Um, I agree with you, actually. I think the linebacker room is better than last year. I actually agree with you. I don't know how much better, or I don't know what its ceiling is. I think the floor is better. Um, let's talk about it. Hey, I'm gonna skip over certain guys. Like I'm not wasting much time on Caleb. Blake Nicholson, freshman, 6'3", 222 pounds. What are y'all thinking? Has Blake Nicholson been a disappointment so far in his FSU career? Here's the thing about Blake Nicholson, and if you guys remember when we were recruiting him, I had said something about Blake, and I was high on him. But FSU needed him, right? And I was high on him, but I also had a warning. I had a warning. I said, FSU, you recruit way too many lackluster players at the linebacker position. You're talking about at that time, we were recruiting guys like Jordan Eubanks, DeMarco Ward. Hell, I've forgotten some of the names too. But guys that we all knew had no business on an FSU roster. Like we knew it. Right? We knew it. At the time, that was literally the caliber of backer we were recruiting. Eubanks, DeMarco Ward, and I feel like I know I'm forgetting some guys, but you guys know the type of backers we were recruiting. And so the warning I gave was you're recruiting such mid-tier caliber of a player at a position of historical dominance, kind of. I mean, come on, Ernie Sims, Derek Brooks, Marvin Jones, Sam Cowell, like we can go on. Bolware, Kendall Polk, right? Buster Day, like we can talk about Nigel Bradham, Vince, like we can go on and on about backer, right? Telvin Smith. We can just keep going. And I said Blake Nicholson has to hit. I said Blake Nicholson has to hit. But if he doesn't hit, it's gonna look the worse because he's the only 4-star caliber legit athlete you recruited at the position. If he doesn't hit, it's gonna look worse than what it would be if you were recruiting similar caliber players around him. And that's, in my opinion, I think that's the problem that Blake Nicholson has faced. I don't think Blake has been nearly as bad as some people think he has been. But look at what they were surrounding him with, or look at what his competition was. We don't even know who the competition was because none of them are even on the roster anymore. None of them. None of those linebackers we recruited are even on the roster anymore. If I went and looked up none of them are on the roster. So I hope Blake has a standout senior year. I don't think he's been as bad as some people think, but also this is what happens when he's been the only legit player you've recruited at the position. Again, Brandon Torres, I don't know who you are, so I'm not going to talk about you. Don't think you're going to get anything out of Dylan Green, the freshman. I don't know if any of the freshmen necessarily play because I know you got Isaiah Williams. If a freshman are going to play, it's either going to be Isaiah Williams or Mayock out of Miami. It's going to be one of those two guys. So we'll see. Then you got Omar Graham. He's going to play because Mike Norvell is loyal to guys like Omar Graham. So Graham will play. Chris Jones. I'm gonna stop wasting time and get straight to Chris Jones. That's the guy. He's wearing number 10. I honestly, I wish they'd stop putting number 10 on some of these guys. And I hope Chris Jones lives up to the number. I really do. Hope he lives up to the number 10. But they got to be more stingy with that number 10. I feel like they just throw that number 10 out. Every year they're putting a number 10 on somebody. And I'm like, y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop doing that. But anyway, this is the guy, man. This is the guy that, Southern Miss transfer. The expectation he's going to be the start, the best linebacker on the roster potentially. How good is he? We'll see. I gotta see what that looks like, man. Southern Miss. He's only a junior, so we might have him for a couple years. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about Chris Jones? What do you think about the linebacking room as a whole? I moved the whole camera. Mm-hmm. Blake's had an average career so far. I'm not saying Blake's had a great career. Do we anticipate Chris Jones? Chris Jones will be better than Tatum Bethune. Interesting. What does that mean? Like, I guess here's the thing. And Bethune and Deloach had the privilege of playing behind pretty good defensive lines, especially that 20, as we know, Verse and the boys in that 2023 D line was legit. Bethune played 2 years for you. That 2022 line wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as 23, obviously. Here's the problem. We just gave our D line a C. I think I gave it what did I give it, a C or a C minus? Linebackers gonna maybe be cleaning up stuff they shouldn't be cleaning up, or having gaps that they can't shoot. Or like, if my linebacker's being blocked by a 300-pound guard, he can't do nothing. I'm interested to see how that correlates. I don't think the line might help out the linebackers, so you can see if he's better than Tatum Bethune. I think people are anticipating him to be pretty good, and I'm interested to see how he plays. It's unfortunate that he might not be able to showcase it, but maybe the surrounding pieces on this defense. But we'll see. I like Jones as a tackler and run stopper. He could be a liability in coverage, which is why you need Blake to step up. Okay, so Blake and Jones need to complement each other. I hear that. I don't care about punter or kicker. I'm going to be honest with you, Terrell. Don't care. Linebackers. I like the addition of Chris Jones. I actually think the linebackers are better than last year. I actually think your freshman, for a first time in a long time, I think FSU has some pretty decent, promising freshmen, specifically in Mayock and Williams. And if you can get anything out of Lavelle and then Darrell Green, like, you might actually have a decent young linebacking core. And then I think the guys that I skipped over AJ Cottrell, by the way. If we see him on the field, guys, y'all already know y'all know how that goes. Y'all know how that goes, right? I'm not wasting my time on Cottrell. You watched him last year, then you saw what that looked like. If we see all of 6 foot, 229 pound, a walk-on redshirt senior, Contrell, number 41 on the field. Y'all already know, right? Okay, so we're not wasting time on that. A combination of Blake Nicholson, Omar Graham, um, DeBoer, and Jones. And then, what do you get out of the JUCO guy, Chris Thomas? There's been some mixed reviews on that. I've heard some people think that he's gonna actually like shock some people. 6'2", 230-pound linebacker Chris Thomas out of Northwest Mississippi Community College. We'll see what that looks like. So we got to grade in the right context. I can't give it as high as a B because I don't believe the linebackers are as good as the DBs. I can't give it as low as the C because I do think it's better. I think the linebacker unit is better than the defensive line unit as it stands right now. Some people might disagree with me on that, but I think there is more. And when I say high end, I'm speaking in relative terms to the talent level of this team. When I say high end, I think there's more high end talent on this linebacker unit than there is in that defensive line unit. Meaning, like Isaiah Williams could end up and Mayock could end up being really good. I think Chris Jones is going to be a good player. Same thing with Blake Nicholson. I think he will be a good player. I think the linebackers are better than last year, and I'm going C plus or B minus. Believe it or not, I think your linebackers are going to play better. I just hope that the D line can keep them clean. I'm gonna go B minus. I was gonna go C plus. I'm gonna be, believe it or not, I'm gonna go B minus. There's some players that I like in that linebacker room. I think what's gonna happen this year, unfortunately, what I think is actually gonna happen this year is that I think the linebackers are just not gonna be kept clean. I think your D line's not going to be able to hold up at the point of attack against certain teams, which is going to make the linebackers look a little worse than they are. But I'm going to go B minus on the linebackers, actually. We'll see. We'll see what y'all talk about. Williams and Mayock will push for snaps. AJ plays special teams. That's it. That's all he needs to play. Special teams. We'll see when SMU comes to dope. I think early the D will be tested before Bama. My opinion, go Knowles. C, potential B. If Jones balls and freshman Williams and Mayock push for snaps, I say B minus. Isaiah Williams is the best athlete in that group. If he's healthy and can learn the playbook, then you have something. His junior film is legit. Yeah, I'm going B minus, man. I think there's a good amount of potential. And actually some solid guys already, right? I think Blake Nicholson, I think Jones are solid, are good. Omar Graham is kind of what he is, but he's a guy that's smart and could probably teach. And then I think you have some young players that have potential, right? But potential, like I always say, potential gets you fired. But again, I think you have a mix that complements each other. Can't go any higher than a B minus on the backers. Let's move on from the backers, and that gives the defense. So okay, before we move on from the backers, guys, we said, or at least I said, and you can also use your own grades. What's up, Dan Squatch? Man, it's been a long time, Dan Squatch. What's going on? We gave DBs a B. We gave D-line a C minus. I think I might have originally gave the D-line a C, but I'm going C minus. The more I think about the D-line, the less optimistic I honestly feel. And then I went linebackers B minus. So B minus, C minus. What do you guys think should be the overall grade for this defensive unit? I'm gonna give mine obviously, and I would like for y'all to give y'all's in the chat if y'all don't mind. Um, I will go my overall grade for the defense. I'm struggling between C plus and a B. I'm struggling between, and I see, I see Vic with the C plus. I'm struggling between C plus and a B. Those are kind of the two I'm leaning. Again, the more I think of D line, the more I cringe. I cringe. Um, because the D line affects everybody. That D line, that pass rush, like even if we think our corners are a B, we saw it last year. If you can't get a pass rush, the corners can't cover forever, right? If you can't hold the point of attack and create gaps, what are your linebackers going to do? Your linebackers get swallowed up, and now your safeties are covering from the line. So I think that D line is a major hole that needs to be filled, and I hope they figure it out. I hope guys step up. I cannot give the D. Yeah, I'm going C plus. I can't give the defense a B. I can't. I don't. I don't. I think that D line is a sore spot right now, and until I see it, like until we see it on the field, and maybe it looks better as it stands right now, I don't anticipate that defensive line being very good. I, yeah, I like the C plus grade for the D. I agree with FSU Tony. I like the C plus grade. Dengbe doesn't think the backers are that good, and that's fair. I think the backers are pretty solid actually, and are actually better than last year's backers. So I got the backers a B minus. Let's move on, man. Offensive line, Chasten Brown, Jonathan Daniels. This unit is so interesting to me. But let me go through the names like I've been doing, and then we'll circle back. Andre Otto, Sean Porrett, Sandman Thompson, Jaden Todd, Luke Francis, Jacoby Green, Mike how do you say that? Ionota? Yeah, whatever. Stephen Moore, Stephen Pickard Jr., Paul Bowling, Xavier Chaplin. That's the guy that's getting a lot of hype as it stands right now. Braden Welch Joyner, Chimita Nawa. I butchered that one. Nate Pabst. Okay, and then we got a couple freshmen offensive linemen. Let's just start off with the real, because I don't Chasten Brown redshirt freshman. Don't think you're going to get anything out of them. It'd be cool. No expectation. Jonathan Daniels is the first name I'm going to start off with. 6'4", 321. If that is legit, I don't know what your starting five is going to be, but I'm going to make a prediction when we're done talking about these guys. I almost feel like Jonathan Daniels has to be on the starting offensive line. Does anybody disagree with me? I don't care about the transfer guys you brought in. I remember watching Jonathan Daniels last year when FSU got in some blowout situations and they put that backup O-line. And that backup O-line didn't look too good. There were two guys on that backup O-line that I said looked like NFL players. One was a true freshman, and one was this guy, Jonathan Daniels. The other one was Sandman Thomas. Man, I really hope this guy. When you say look the part, that guy looks like an NFL offensive lineman. From looks how he plays, we'll see. I'm hoping and I know he plays tackle. I believe Jonathan Daniels could be like an All-American caliber guard. Um, I think they like him at tackle. I don't care either way. I would love to see, like, if Jonathan Daniels took that step this year, that would tell me that coaching is getting the most out of him. Like, it would tell me that guys are actually progressing. You feel me? Um, Andre Otto's next. I don't have a big feel one way or the other on Andre Otto. I don't necessarily think he's a bad player. I'm not so sure he's maybe as good as people anticipate either. Like, yeah, that's just me though. I would take Jonathan Daniels over Andre Otto any day, and that goes for guard. Sean Poet, don't think you're going to see much of him. Sandman, in my opinion, this guy should be your starting center. I understand you brought in who I'm assuming the starting center is gonna be your boy Braden Welch Joyner. Um, I think that's the guy they brought in to be the center, who was at Auburn and Purdue. Um, or is it Paul Bowling from Troy? He was a freshman All American at Troy, for what it's worth. I think Sandman personally should play and play a lot. Again, just me though. Then Jaden Todd, Luke Francis, true freshman, big body. I think it's gonna take a while to see what that is. Um, the next big name we really need to cover would be the Paul Bowling, Troy, freshman All American. Um, is he a center? Is he a guard? You got to think he's gonna play. Then Xavier Chaplin, that's the name that you are going to circle because that's the name that everybody's hyping up. That's like last year's boy out of Ole Miss. I forget his name already, but they're talking about 6'8", 346 pounds. Played at Virginia Tech. Played at Auburn. Um, Obviously, he's going to be one of the starting tackles. The question's going to be: is it Nate Pabst? Probably playing opposite of him at a Bowling Green, who's 6'7". So that makes your tackles nice and huge and long. Pause. And then who's your guards? I think Johnson Daniels should be one of the guards. I think. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if Andre Otto was the other guard. Um, but you didn't bring in guys like Braden Welch Jr. and Paul Bowling in for nothing. Um, so we'll see. My starting five as of right. Well, before I get my starting five, let's see. What are y'all talking about in the chat when it comes to the O line? What are y'all talking about? Let's see. Defense got a C. I hear that, Mark. Yeah, I gave it a. That sounds about right. You feel Auto will be good. O line is a. Are you saying B minus? FSU Tony feels the O line's a B. Does Daniel start at guard? I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Always getting undersized offensive tackles. Daniels has the potential since the beginning. He's the guy they brought in with the outside. Yeah, exactly. I think he looks like a pro. They just got to get him on the field. I agree with you, Dan Squatch. Exactly. So the G6 guys are starting over some of our guys, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Otto is starting at guard. I hear you. I'm just saying I don't care, and I wouldn't start him at guard. That's just me though. Chaplin, Otto, Joyner, Pabst, and the African kid starts at right tackle. What African kid? Let me go back to the roster. What African kid you talking about? I hope you're not talking about. Are you talking about new Wow? Oh, well, we'll see how that looks. Who's the third tackle? Is a scary question, especially if you have the ass early in the year. Maybe Jonathan Daniels can be the third tackle. Maybe he doesn't start, but he's the third tackle. Um, my five. I don't care what the five is. At center, my five would be I would start Sandman Thomas personally over whoever. I would start Sandman, and then I would go. What's the name? Wouldn't even see the field for me. Braden Wilts Joyner, he wouldn't even see the field for me. Get that? He wouldn't even be on my roster, but whatever. So my starting five at center. Actually, let's just go from left to right. At left, obviously, would be Chaplin. My left guard, I think, would be Nate. My center would be Sandman. My right guard would be. I would throw what's the name in there because I want to see how he looks. Bowling. I'm putting him at the right guard, and then my right tackle. I don't know anything about this African kid to throw him in there. Give me Jonathan Daniels as my right tackle. I don't know nothing about that kid. Um, grade for your offensive line. One thing I'll acknowledge on that offensive line when looking at that roster, they got bodies, man. They got big boys. Something that the defensive line doesn't have, they have. I mean, let me just go down the list here of the bodies. Chaston Brown, 6'8", 300. Jonathan Daniels, 6'4", 321. Andre Otto, 6'5", 318. Porrett, 6'5", 296. Sandman, 6'1", 318. Jaden Todd, 6'6", 303. Luke Francis, 6'5", 350. Jacoby Green, 6'3", 315. And you got 6'6", 308. And you got 6'5", 327. 6'5", 335. 6'3", 305. 6'8", 346. 6'2", 327. 6'5", 307. 6'7", 350. Okay, the numbers just go on. We almost got a 400-pounder in Nikuha Hapia, 6'7", 380. So we damn near got a 400-pounder too. He won't play. He probably needs to lose a lot of bad weight. But the point is, they got size, length. All these guys are 6'5". The question is, can they move their feet? That's my question. Some of these guys is going to be, can they move their feet? But they got bodies, man. They got bodies. They definitely won't be undersized. I don't know. Here's the problem: is that I don't think the O line's better than last year. I don't. First of all, I don't think there's any. I don't think there's no way it's better than last year. When you talk about that offensive line was like completely seniors from top to bottom. There's no way it's better than last year's. From an experience standpoint, any of that, I just don't believe that. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong, but I think how it stands right now, um, I think how it stands right now, I don't believe I don't believe it's better. That doesn't mean I think it's a bad unit. You feel me? It doesn't mean that I think it's going to be necessarily a bad unit. I'm trying to keep all my grades in the perspective. So far, corner has been the best. O line's better than the D line for sure. So I gave the D line a C minus. There's no way I'm giving the O-line a C minus. It's not as I don't believe it's as talented as the DBs. It could be on par with the linebackers, or it could be I overrated the linebackers because I give the backers a B minus. So I do think I feel like O line's going to be better than the C though, right? So it's not as bad as my D line, and I think it's going to be better than a C. I think you have guys. I'm going to give I'm not going to quite give it a B minus. Actually, I might. Almost make me want to change my linebacker grade to a C plus and make my O line a B line. I feel like the O line as a whole is going to be or is already better than the linebacker unit. And I think I gave my linebackers a B minus. I should have wrote these down so I could remember my grades. But I don't even have any paper here around. I think I'm leaning C plus B minus on the offensive line. I think it's got a good combination of some veteran guys. Again, I don't think it's as good. I don't think it's as good as last year's, but I don't think the drop off is super significant. And unlike last year, I think you got some young guys with the potential to make some noise. Your Sandman Thomases, your Jonathan Daniels, those two names in particular, in my opinion, should see the field, should be in the rotations. I know Herb doesn't rotate a lot, which is a good thing. I don't think he should, but they should be in the mix. I'm going C plus. I'm going C plus. Tackle depth, yes, I agree. But FSU has had tackle depth problems from the beginning. That feels like a every year situation, Dan Squatch. Every year, tackle depth, right, is a problem. Vontae says it's a solid C. I think it's a little better than the C. I think the O-line's a little better than the C, Vontae, but I'm not mad at it. If you think it's a C, it's a C. I'm leaning towards C plus. I think it's a C plus. I think the O-line is definitely not as good as the DBs, and I think it's just behind the backers. Definitely better than the D line. This O line is quicker and stronger. Oh, I don't know how to grade. I don't know how to grade that yet, champ. Without seeing it on the field, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I would say the younger players though are there's more potential. I didn't even talk about the true sophomore, the freshman All-American out of Troy, like that guy, Jonathan Daniels again, Sandman Thomas. Like those should give you some promise. I mean, Chasten Brown is a 6'8", 300-pounder. I know he's a former basketball player, body type. You know, what does that look like? So you have some things there. Again, I don't think it's as high end as last year's. Again, relative to what FSU is nowadays, but I don't think it's that. I don't think the drop off is super significant. Let's move on. So we're gonna go from O line to what's next? Not talking punters. What's crazy is FSU has 3 punters on the roster. Why? I don't know. So the next position group. I got to take this before we talk about this position group. And at this point, I'm kind of glad we're talking about it now so we can get it out the way. But we're about to talk quarterbacks, guys. Ashton Daniels, Kevin Sperry, Michael Grant, Jaden O'Neal, Dean DeNoble, and Malachi Marshall. That is your quarterback room going into this season. I don't know how to talk about this group. If I'm being real with you guys, I don't know how to attack it. What I will say is those names that I just listed out for you. If you can name me a worse quarterback room, um, I don't want to go to the history because some of y'all are a little older than me. In the last, but I'm 38. So in the last 30 years of Florida State football, if you can name me a worse quarterback room, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. And let me be very clear: I'm not pumping sunshine on not one of these quarterbacks. I'm not, and that includes everybody's dark horse favorite, Malachi Marshall. I'm not pumping sunshine on any of them. Any of them. I have no clue if Malachi Marshall can play at this level. The man is 6'2", 200 and excuse me, 150 pounds soaking wet. Oh, and by the way, he's a junior. We'll probably never see that man take a snap at Florida State, especially if Mike Norvell gets fired. Dean DeNoble, who? Jaden O'Neal, he's out for the year with the. He's not even playing his freshman year. That's another guy who, if he told me he never took a snap at Florida State, I wouldn't be shocked. Ashton, and then Kevin Dan Sperry. Come on, man. And then Michael who? Michael Grant. It must be a walk-on. It's got to be a walk-on. What are we talking about? There's not one quarter. I'm not going to sunshine pump not one of those quarterbacks. If some of y'all think Malachi Marshall is whatever y'all think he is, y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. 24 and 25 QB rooms were worse. By what metric? Other than what we necessarily saw, I can give you the fact that DJ sucked. But at least you had, I don't know, Gant or BG and Luke Cromenholt. Like at least you had something down there. Ashton Daniels is nothing but a 6'3" Thomas Castellanos. I really hope that some of y'all don't think. I really hope some of y'all don't think that Ashton Daniels is anything to talk about. QB's a D plus. QBs are an F. I'm not going D for nothing. F. And maybe I'm just too hard on quarterbacks, but listen to me. F. Because not only is your starter has a track record of being subpar, you have nothing behind them. Your hope is that either Kevin Sperry, who he's not, I'm telling you right now, Kevin Sperry's not what any of y'all hope he is, or Malachi Marshall, who, again, he's not. He's not what any of y'all hope he is. Y'all seen a few clips of him throwing the ball and go, oh, that's the guy. Okay. If he was the guy, he'd be on the field. Because Mike Norvell can't afford to really play with the quarterback position. F. I'm just giving the quarterback room an F, and we're not even going to pretend like it's anything better. That Vontae, you got the right mindset. G. Z. Daniels, by what metric? Champs, I love you. Champ, I love you. Your feelings is the only there. As a matter of fact, if you actually go look at the stats, by no metric is Daniels better than Thomas Castellanos. The only thing he's better than Thomas Castellanos is that he's actually 6'3" and over 200 pounds. They're the same damn quarterback, man. And TC actually probably has a better arm vertically. Thank you. Thank you. By what metric? Again, your feelings, you can feel whatever you want to feel. If you feel that Ashton Daniels is better than Thomas Castellanos just because you feel it in your gut, see this quarterback room gets my blood boiling. So I'm a little bit more animated because it's so bad. And the FSU's quarterback room should never look like this. I've been saying it for 3 years now. The biggest indictment on Mike Norvell has been quarterback management and just acquiring talent at this position. And look what it is in 2026 going 2027 season. This is ridiculous. And anybody that's saying Ashton Daniels is head and shoulders better than TC, he's just head and shoulders taller than TC. That's it. There's nothing in that quarterback room to be excited about. Y'all can believe what you want, but I'm telling you, there's nothing in that quarterback room to be excited about. Again, better than last year by what metric? I'm not so sure Ashton Daniels is better than TC. He's just bigger, which at least means he'll be more durable. That's it. If FSU can run the ball, we said the same thing last year. If FSU can run the ball, I bet this is not 1995 anymore. This ain't 2005 anymore. Yes, you still run the ball in today's modern game, but damn it, you got to be able to throw the ball. You got to be able to throw the ball across the middle of the field. You got to be able to see the defense. At 6'3" TC, you're not wrong. In theory, let's see how it looks on the football field. But in theory, you're not wrong. A 6'3" TC should be better than the 5'7" version, in theory. Bro, we had to talk as a team in college. Everybody in here is a hard gainer / fast metabolism, but there ain't no excuse to not meet your diet goals. 150 as a third year guy is crazy. I understand where Malachi went, spent junior college, but Dan Squatch is letting you know how, again, you can be optimistic, but Malachi Marshall ain't the answer, folks. What about Auburn? Did Auburn not have any talent? And please don't say that, because Auburn has one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in the country. So please don't tell me Auburn doesn't have any talent, champ. You want to bring up Stanford? Well, he also played at Auburn. Okay. Daniels is going to be benched by week 5. For who? Kevin Sperry? Who are you benching him for? I've heard this too. Oh, we'll be benching Ashton Daniels by week 5. First of all, I would, y'all got to really think that kind of comment through. Week 5. Are you I already covered the first 4 games of the season. He's getting benched by week 5. Are you telling me we get upset by Central Arkansas or New Mexico State? If he's getting benched, he's not getting benched if you're 2-2 in those first 4 games. The first 4 games is Bama, SMU, New Mexico State, and Central Arkansas. At a minimum, you better be 2-2. If you're telling me he's benched by week 5, you're telling me he lost to one of those 2 teams that he shouldn't have lost to, which, oh my God. No, he won't be benched by week 5. That's number 1. Number 2, who are you benching him for? Who? Y'all want to act like we didn't see Kevin Sperry play and throw a lame duck Hail Mary like, oh, the music messed up. Sometimes Florida State fans, I feel like some of us don't watch the football games, or we just have selective memory. Thank you. TC had a limited ceiling, which we all knew. He had big play potential with his legs, and other than that, not much out of him. But Ashton, there's nothing that he does better than TC, except that he's just a bigger football player. He does not. I'm glad people are sick. This is why I love the tribe. This is why I love. I've missed this. I've missed live streaming for this because Twitter sucks. Twitter discourse is trash because half of them people I don't. First, half of Twitter is troll, and then the other half is just people that don't know what the hell they're talking about. There's nothing that Ashton Daniels does better than Thomas Castellanos, and I'm not a Thomas Castellanos guy by any stretch of the imagination. Anybody, I would take. Give me Drew Weatherford right now. Give me Drew Weatherford right now. F. Tell me how it. No, F. Quarterback is an F, and if you think anything better than that, I don't know what to tell you. TC couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Okay, we'll see what Ashton Daniels does. Again, I will say the thing about Daniels, the only advantage is that he's bigger. So at least Ashton Daniels will be able to see over the middle of the field. We'll see if he can actually make those passes. We'll see if he can actually make those passes. Let's move on, dog, because I'll have an aneurysm talking about this damn quarterback room. The quarterback room is disgusting. Mike Norvell, as an offensive coach and a quote unquote master, he should be embarrassed. I can really go in on this quarterback room. It is. I've watched Florida State for a long time. This is disgusting. This quarterback room is disgusting. Let's move on. We go from quarterbacks to a position that you can be excited about, in my opinion, and that's the running backs. Let me. I gotta do this. That quarterback room had y'all got my blood boiling with that. Not y'all. Just that quarterback room is nasty, man. That quarterback room is nasty. Running backs. Now, this is a room that should get us a little bit more on the positives, back on the positive side. Usman Chroma. I'm gonna circle him because I'm gonna come back to him. I got some things to say about Chroma. Some of y'all actually might not like what I have to say, but I'll come back. Zay Parks, Sam Singleton, true freshman Amari Thomas, and then Wisner and Jamari Sands. I'm going to just start with Chroma because I think Chroma, just like very similar to what I said about Kevin Wynn, I think Chroma makes or breaks this backfield. Chroma's the hype guy. Chroma's the guy that he was the big signing day flip or get or whatever he was, Georgia, all this stuff, top tier talent, all these things. Played as a true freshman, had some moments, but in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, didn't jump off the field for me. I just believe at certain positions, talent should just pop. To me, Chroma never, and unfortunately, I'll say this. Chroma's better than Cam Davis. But I said the same thing about Cam Davis when we got him. And people killed me for it. I said, I'm watching Cam Davis and he doesn't pop. Like I don't see it. and he's gone. He's not on the roster anymore. I think Chroma's actually a better player than Cam Davis, so I'm not going to go that far. But for the level or caliber of player that people are talking about with Usman Chroma, I don't know if he's that. I think he's a good, as of right now, good player, potential to be a great player. We'll see how it plays out. I don't want to say he's a finished product because obviously he's not. I'm just saying as of last year, when I watched, I didn't go like he didn't, just didn't pop off my screen. Mandrell Desir popped off the screen, even when he didn't make a sack. And like that's the comparison that I want y'all to think about when I talk about players. Like you can watch a football game and say, oh, even when a guy doesn't make a play, that guy, like you can see it. And for me, Chroma, I just didn't see it. That doesn't mean he ain't got it. I just didn't see it. Now, the running back room is going to be made or broken by Usman. If he lives up to the hype, this room could be an A. Because I think Wisner is a quality running back. Now, I don't know if Wisner, like, let me look up his stats at Texas real quick. But I think Wisner is a good running back. And I think if Chroma gets it in his sophomore year, then you have a great 1-2 punch right there. I really believe that. I think that running back room. And now Sam Singleton is also very interesting. We'll talk about him in a minute. But I'm really putting all the onus, fair or not, on Chroma because that's the guy, right? That's the guy that FSU went out there. That's the guy that so like in 2024, Wisner had a 1,000-yard season. Last year he only had 597 yards, but his production has pretty much been the same. Meaning, his carries were basically cut in half. So he was on pace for another 1,000-yard. He averages 4.7 and 24 points last year. Same thing. Wisner is about a 5-yard carry running back. Again, Wisner is not, in my opinion, game breaker. He's a good running back. Chroma needs to be the game breaker. If Chroma is the guy that everyone has hyped him to be, that the expectations, whether Ingram or Ingram was so over the moon when they got him, and I'm not saying Ingram was wrong for feeling that way, but if he's anything that he's supposed to be, that FSU, that running back room could be really good. But if you just got two good running backs in Chroma and Wisner, it's going to look very similar to last year, where Sawchuk was good, but he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And you didn't really have a compliment to Sawchuk. You just had some guys had good performances every now and then. Singleton is another guy that, though, I think is fair to watch because I like what I saw to Sam. And maybe Sam could be the game breaker. I don't necessarily know. I'm putting all the onus on Chroma because I feel like that's right. That's the guy. That's the guy that they invested all the NIL money into. Let's see if we can get a return on that investment. Let me go to the comments and see what y'all think about what I'm saying. Running backs are A+. I think you're a little bit overzealous there, but it has a potential to be a really good room. You start laughing. Yeah, I think A+ is a little bit much. B+ for running backs. Almighty thinks it's a B+ as well. Another B+. We were better on both sides of the ball this year. The question is, has the mentality changed? Let's see. We talking running backs. Running back. So a lot of y'all think running back room is a B plus. A minus is kind of high. I think B plus is kind of high. I actually would give the running backs the same grade. It's the hardware. Again, I think for y'all that are giving the running back room a B plus, I think you're giving it that off of the anticipation that Chroma is going to be that guy, and that's okay. I'm not saying that you're necessarily wrong. We just don't know. Based off the Chroma that I've seen, based off what Wisner is, and based off Sam Singleton, because I don't think you're getting anything. I think Sands was brought in here just for depth. Maybe we were wrong, and we see something out of that. And I don't think that the true freshman plays much at all. I would give it a B. Me personally, I think I'm giving running back a B. That all is up to Chroma. Again, Chroma makes or breaks that running back room. If he's the guy that everybody says he is, that I think people that are giving this running back room a B plus, I think y'all are anticipating Chroma to be that guy. If he's that guy, then yeah, you got. I think there it is. If he's not that guy, I think it's just a B room. And based off based off July 17th, it's just a B. There's nothing in the running back room, and it's not deep enough for me to go higher than a B. And that's fair. A lot of people think Singleton should get more burn. I like Singleton. I've always liked Singleton. But again, based off even what I've seen from Singleton to this point, everything's a B. I can't give it higher than a B. I think the running back room is right on par with the DBs. Some good players and unproven potential. If the potential hits, C plus. C plus is a little, man. I don't know about C plus, but I mean, if I said B, I can see where you see a C plus, because I'm giving it a B, but I can see where you say C plus. Can we get a new head coach, please? If Chroma lives up to the potential that people are talking about, like I said, man, A. I'm going straight to A. I can't give it a B plus. I think B plus is. I think B plus. Yeah, I think y'all are. Is it Wisner's again? That's a 5 yard to carry running back. Wisner's a solid player, but he doesn't bring it over, up here and yeah. I actually like FSU's running back room last year a little. I think FSU's running back last year had more high end, or at least more depth and more. I don't know about high end talent, but more talent with Lucas. And even though I know no one like Roy Dell, I mean he's still a body. And obviously Sawchuck and Chroma, right, and Singleton. So we'll see. We'll see if trimming the fat actually makes the running back room better, or will they miss some of that depth that they had last year? The players on the team are talking big things about. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Amari Thomas, I hear you. Maybe he's a guy. I don't put a lot of stock in the freshmen, especially middle of the pack recruited freshmen, right? I just don't. Now, your top tier guy will have some anticipation, but when's the last what freshman under Norvell has like hit the ground running? I can't name one. If you can, please let me know. All right, let's move on. We're gonna move on to the next position group, and that's tight end. This is an interesting group because I've said that, and talking tight ends really pisses me off. And the only reason it pisses me off because tight end is such an X factor position. Tight end is a very the tight end position is what I would consider a double-edged sword position, meaning it can be a very overrated position or a very underrated position, depending. Mike Norvell, hey guys, and real quick, is the sound okay? I feel like I'm hearing an echo in my headset, and I just want to make sure you guys aren't hearing that. So if you could just let me know, is the sound okay right now? Is there an echo? Has anybody heard anything? Just real quick before I continue, because it might just be my headphones. Um, hit that like button, please. By the way, first live and forever. Hit the like button for me, and let me know if the sound's okay, real quick. I'm waiting for y'all to tell me so I can move on. Everybody says mic okay. Okay, so I don't know what I'm hearing, but as long as y'all are good, then we're good. This is why the tight end position. I'm gonna go over the players here in a second. Mike Norvell, and he puts more resources into the tight. He dedicates resources to the tight end position, like if it's the quarter. If he recruited quarterbacks like he freaking recruit. If Mike Norvell treated quarterbacks like he treated the tight ends, I don't know. We might actually been able to find a quarterback over the last few years. He pumps so much in the tight end. FSU right now, and this has been the case under Mike Norvell since he's been the head coach. On this roster right now, FSU has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tight ends. Why? Why? Why do you need 8 tight ends? He emphasizes the tight ends, and then when in the game, he don't use them. Only tight end he's ever used is Jaheim Bell. Am I tripping when I'm? Does anybody else feel the way I feel about this tight end stuff, or am I just making a big deal out of nothing? And look, and this isn't a knock on any of the players in the tight end room, like Landon Thomas or Chase Lofton or any of these guys. But damn it, man, why do you need 8? Why do you need 8? When's the last time FSU? You had Landon Thomas and Amari Williams. Did FSU ever run both of those guys at the same time? And if they did, how many? You wasted Amari Williams at the tight end position when you should have told him, no, you're going to put your hand in the dirt on the defensive end, pass rushing. And you wasted time and development. And now he's at Mississippi State. And I wonder if he's playing tight end over there because somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. They probably said, nah, man, you're going to play DN. You're not wasting your time at tight end. But for some reason, Mike Norvell couldn't do that. FSU has promising pieces at tight end, but I don't have any faith that they'll be used correct. Xavier Tiller is a player, true freshman, but 6'5", 239. Drew Hardwick, another true freshman, 6'5", 224. They got the transfer out of ECU, the Serio Riles. Corbin Ford, another true freshman. You brought in 3 freshman tight ends. Landon Thomas is still here. Gavin Mackey, Chase Lofton, the redshirt freshman, who they loved. And I think he ended up getting hurt. Tight ends start to make my blood boil almost as much as the quarterbacks. They're not all tight ends. Well, damn it, the official FSU roster, champ, has them all listed as tight ends. So I guess you know more than the official roster. And I hope they all are tight ends because they're all built like tight ends. Chase Lofton is not a wide receiver. I don't care where they line him up at. He's a tight end. They're not all tight ends. What are we talking about? Too many guys don't ever look physical or explosive. Didn't know how good we had it with our South Carolina 1-year rental who was hurt half the year. Mike out here looking for the wrong tight. Don't know why the tight end position pisses me off because if you're gonna invest that much equity into a position group, you would think that FSU's offense would be jumbo package tight end focus, and it's not. It's not. Williams is playing edge at Mississippi State. Head clown Norvell was no. That's what I'm saying. You wasted. So I'm not going to spend any more time on tight ends because it's going to piss me off like it did the quarterback position. I'm gonna grade it. From a talent perspective, the tight end room is actually talented, guys. I can't say the tight end room isn't talented. If I'm strictly judging it off of talent, they have players in that room that I like. I think Tiller has the potential to be a beast. I think Lofton has a potential to be pretty good. Landon Thomas, I think, but here's the problem. And I bring up Landon Thomas because he is the example of how you mismanage a borderline 4 or 5-star tight end, and Landon Thomas is the example. Does anybody have any belief that you're getting any? Is Xavier Tiller ever going to live up to that potential? If you ask Landon Thomas, he probably won't be. From a talent perspective, man, I really think that tight end room is about as talented as wide receiver room. Right? It's about as talented as any room. From a pure talent perspective, they have players, they got bodies. Hell, if you got 8 of them on the roster, it should be talented. I'm gonna grade it how I think it's gonna be used. I'm not even gonna grade it off of talent. I'm gonna give it a C because despite all the players we named, we'll barely use them. Watch. Ashton Daniels won't be able to hit the tight end if he's standing 2 feet in front of him. Watch. Prove me wrong. I don't expect much, if anything, from the tight end position this year. Champ, you're not making a. Let me take a drink. But that's not the argument I made. So you're doing what they call move the goalpost. I said FSU, meaning the team that these players play for, coaches, etc., have them listed as tight ends. I don't care what they were listed coming out of high school. I don't care what Deuce Robinson was listed as coming out of high school. Deuce Robinson is listed as a wide receiver on FSU's roster. Chase Lawson is listed as a tight end on FSU's roster. He's a tight end. I don't care what he was coming out of high school. So your argument, again, has no correlation, and you just move the goalposts. Let's move on. Let's move on from tight ends. And that leaves the best position group on the field. It's not a question. It's not a debate. This is a group that has the right mix. High-end, top-tier talent, nice, up-and-coming potential. This is the group. Y'all know it. I know it. By far, I don't think it's close. Wide receiver. And I'll just grade it off the bat so we can talk about the players. It's an A. I won't go A+, but I will go A. It's an A. For it to make A+, that slot guy is gonna have to. I love the combination. I think Deuce and Danzy complement each other perfectly. For it to be A+, that third guy is that Boggs, is that Lopez. They're talking about freshman Lopez. Y'all know how I'm in front freshman. I'm not gonna put a lot of stock on it. Does Boggs come back in his sophomore? Does Boggs catch a red shirt, or is he a true sophomore this year? Let me check. Boggs. He's a true sophomore. So does Boggs come back in his sophomore year and be what people thought he was going to be as a freshman in that slot? Or is it somebody like a E.J. White? Is it a Devin Carter? We don't know, but what we know is you got Deuce Robinson, you got Mekhi Danzy, and that alone is an A. I'm shocked Deuce Robinson is back. For the life of me, shout out to Deuce, because he actually gives me something to root for this year, right? Because I'm obviously going to be rooting for Deuce, and I hope he gets drafted highly. Why he came back to Florida State to play for this quarterback room is a travesty. That FSU couldn't go out there and convince a quarterback that you want to pass to Deuce Robinson. That is grounds for execution. How you couldn't go out there and convince a quarterback to pass to Mekhi Danzy and Deuce Robinson? They couldn't do. They ended up with Ashton Daniels. But this again, we're talking about a mix of young and old play, and even Mekhi Danzy. I mean, he's a sophomore. Perfect mix of you got Deuce, you got Danzy, and then you got the rest of that room is all freshmen, folks. So that's the one negative, I think, when it comes to the wide receiver room, is you got a redshirt sophomore Mekhi Danzy and a redshirt and a true senior in Deuce Robinson as your two senior, like your two experienced players in that room. And then look at this. Tashawn Gesley, redshirt freshman, big body, 6'4", 227. Tyreek Mallory, another big body, redshirt freshman, 6'5", 215. Devin Carter, true freshman. Jason Lopez, true freshman. E.J. White, true freshman. Darren Williams, true freshman. Javon Boggs, true sophomore. Brandon Bennett, true freshman. Tony Bland, true freshman. Keon June, true freshman. Jonah Winston, true freshman. You don't have that's maybe the only negative to that room is, God forbid, an injury to Danzy or Deuce happens. God forbid, like, let's knock on wood, pray to Allah, Buddha, Jesus, whatever deity you pray to at night. Spaghetti monster, I don't care. Whatever you believe in it, and pray to it that FSU does not face those two, a major injury at the top of this receiving group. Because outside of that, I really think it's a good group. The only knock is that it's extremely young. It's extremely young. And again, if Deuce gets hurt or Danzy gets hurt, now you're counting on, freshmen. Let me go to the comments and see what y'all think about receiving room. Wide receivers A. Yeah, it's an A. It's an A group. I believe in the YNs at slot. Can you get him the ball? How long them square body O-line gonna let him run downfield? I got Jason Lopez to a 94 overall his senior year. Be on the lookout for Gesley. Deuce really came back. Shout out to Deuce, but I don't know why he chose to do that. I pray he gets another 1,000-yard season. Boggs, bro, we couldn't get the JMQB, and UCF got him. I'm saying you couldn't convince a quarterback that you wanted to pass to these guys. What do y'all think about the depth, though? Does the depth of the wide receiver? Cause I didn't really see anybody talk about it. Does the depth of that wide receiver room concern any of y'all? Because there is not any depth. And how long have I been live so far? How long? Wow, we've been on for 2 hours and 40 minutes. It don't even feel like it. These are the lives I miss when it doesn't even feel like I've been on that long. Football talking vibes. But we're gonna wrap it up here soon once we're done with this wide receiver. But is anybody concerned? Wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends are at least the B. Mike Norvell is just a terrible coach. Look at the skill talent on offense. The O line will be average, and Faniels is at least serviceable. What do you ask? Trying to say Daniels is at least serviceable. The problem is always been Mike Norvell. Makes us to a certain degree. And says it really comes down to the QB room. I know that you hate talking about it, but whoever really succeeds in that room, which is most likely not. It's not that I hate talking about it. I just think the room's terrible. I don't hate talking. I hate talking about it because it's terrible. I don't just hate talking about it. I hate talking about the QB room because it's terrible. It's like I hate talking about tight ends because I don't think the players in the tight end room are terrible. Unlike quarterback, where I don't think there's really a lot of talent in that room. I think the tight end room is more than talented enough. It's just mismanaged by the head coach. So two different ends of the pendulum. The quarterbacks aren't talented. Tight ends are more than talented, just aren't used adequately. Quarterbacks aren't talented at all, but he puts the entire load of the offense on the quarterback because it's the quarterback, and wonders why FSU struggles. But again, I said I wasn't going to call for Mike Norvell's job. So I think I did pretty good this first episode back. And that's going to wrap it up here tonight, guys. Hit the like button, please. I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me. Haven't been live in a long time. I feel like y'all missed it. I missed it. And I didn't realize how much I missed it until I came back into it. And got back in the swing of things, and I miss talking this. Life be lifing sometimes, and it's good to be back. It's good to be back. It's good to have fun. It's good to talk ball. And hit the like button for me. Hit the like button. I'm pretty sure everybody subscribed. If you're not, why aren't you? And share the video. Share the videos. Share the videos with your people. When we come over here and we talk Florida State football, y'all know what you get over here. You don't get BS over here. I keep it a buck. And you either like it or you don't. But I don't pussyfoot around. I don't pretend to sway one way or the other. Hard facts. When I start telling lies, you guys let me know. But until then, hard facts. To recap real quick, we gave the DB room a B. We gave the linebackers. I think I gave the linebackers a C+. I think I gave them a C+. I think I gave the D-line a C-. Overall, I think I gave the defense like a C or a C. I think I gave overall. I think I gave the defense a C. I gotta start writing this stuff down. Offensive line, I think I gave it the same as the backers. I think C+. I think that's what I gave the O-line, or did I give it a B-? Somewhere around there. Running back, I gave it a solid B. Give it the same as the corner. I can't give it any more until Chrome approves me that he's actually that guy. I gave tight ends a C because that's how they'll be used. Not because of the talent, which I actually think is decent, because Mike Norvell don't know. He likes them but don't know how to use them. Quarterback, I don't even F. And of course, wide receiver is by far the best position group on the field, even with the amount of young players in that room. Wide receiver is by far the best position, but that is a worry. If unfortunately you were to face an injury or two in that room, you're going to be relying on some super young players, and that would super young players playing with a bad quarterback is a recipe for disaster. Whereas veteran receivers playing with an ass quarterback, I feel like the receivers can compensate for the amount of ass we're going to see at quarterback. With that being said, offensive C plus. If I gave the defense a C, I could give. Yeah, that quarterback room brings the offense. If it wasn't for the quarterback room, I think you'd have a really solid B level offense. I really do. I mean, think about it. I gave the tight end room a C, not because it's not talented, but just because of how it's used. I gave your offensive line around a C plus to B minus, and your wide receiver room's an A, and your running back room's a B. So your offense really should be around a B to B plus, just based off of those grades. And then your quarterback room comes into play. And I agree, C plus, B minus is the best you can give that offense. And I'm leaning more towards the C plus because as much as I love the receiver room, there's a reason why quarterbacks matter. And your quarterbacks have to be able to give guys the ball and not only give them the ball, but give them the ball consistently. And not only give them the ball consistently, but give them the ball in positions to be successful. Anticipate throws. Avoid mistakes. Turn a play that's nothing into something. Throw guys open. Don't just throw it to the wide open guy. Throw a guy open. I'm gonna give that the offensive C plus, and it's really is hampered because I think the quarterback room is really that bad. B team should win 8 games this year. We'll see. Next episode, next live stream, I think we might just go over I think I'm gonna just go over the schedule and predict it. See exactly how many games FSU really feasibly can win. But with all that being said, man, I appreciate y'all. As always, man, hit the like button on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. And again, thank y'all. I'm back. Gonna be more consistent. And yeah, I missed it. And we're going to get back to it. As always, man, this your boy POLK over on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, Seminoles, and we are out here. Go Noles.